Good morning. It is a good morning. The title for today, or the message for the 5th of August, is The Sun Rises in the East, China. No kidding! That's the way it has been for as long as any of us can remember. As I see and feel what's happening on our planet, I think the sun, the light, is rising for humanity in the East. I am looking forward to learning from the ancient ones, the masters of the Far East, and sharing their wisdom with you, with all who are ready to listen. They do not seem as set in their ways as those in the West. They are much more patient, more tolerant, and more willing to allow for real change than their Western counterparts. I can hardly wait to share what I hope is coming. Not promises, but real alternative solutions that will help enlighten humanity to prepare for a new birth of real freedom for the whole world. Actually, I wrote that blurb and title over a week ago, believe it or not, in preparation for what I hoped would be my trip to Europe and to China. Of course, that didn't happen. And so I'm here in Florida again and recording this, as I said, in anticipation of things that are happening in China that I was hopefully going to be a participant in, so that I could report firsthand from on the ground. But that's not the way it happened. I am grateful to the Red Dragon, to the old man or the master, of course, to the ambassador, and to those who have reached out to me because they, I hope, saw in me someone who was willing to be vulnerable, willing to tell the truth, willing to look at things from different perspectives and learn new things, be exposed to new ideas, new ways of doing things, because it is the childlike mind that is willing to let go of the past and embrace a future that has not been created yet. It is that willingness that's going to change the world. And I'm trusting that I can exemplify for you, for those who listen to these videos that I create every day, that I can exemplify a pattern, a way of handling life that is honest, sincere, sometimes threatening to people that think it has to be a certain way. I know I shock a lot of people in the way that I present things. I'm not afraid to take on controversy. I'm not afraid to express my feelings, to show my emotions, even my tears, even my anger, because it's all part of the human experience. And I'm trusting that the wisdom of the Chinese, especially the Chinese royal family, who, I'm told, during the Communist Revolution, were not killed, but forced to live like ordinary human beings so that they could have their own spiritual awakening and recognize the plight of humanity that we have suffered at the hands of those who believed they had the divine right to rule over everyone else. I'm trusting that the masters of the Far East this time will recognize that ruling over humanity is counterproductive. It will not produce, ultimately, good on the planet. It has never produced good on the planet. Ruling over others is tyranny. It is a violation of free will. It is a violation of human rights, which are given by Creator to each of us, regardless of our religion, regardless of our nationality, race, culture. Actually, we're all part of one race when we're on this planet. We're part of the human race. And it doesn't matter if we trace our ancestry to one or other of the major continents of the world, the 5 continents or 7 continents, as you wish to see it. I believe it's 5 continents. The Americas are 1. In any case, it doesn't even matter if you trace your heritage to the Pleiades or the Sirius or the Arcturians or some other star system. It doesn't matter. We are all together as part of creation. And we're here together on this planet to allow the sun to rise in our hearts and to rise in our culture, the human culture. Not the Chinese culture or the American culture or the European or African culture or Australian culture or whatever other culture you want to talk about, but the human culture, the sentient being culture, which is made up of sentient beings from here and there and perhaps everywhere, extraterrestrials and terrestrials, reptilians and mammalians and all sorts of breeds, but it's all humanity, all connected in a singular web of life that stretches beyond our imagination to the utmost reaches of the cosmos. Connected. If we can learn to cooperate with each other, as I trust the Chinese want us to do, we will have taken a large step forward in human evolution, in the evolution of consciousness, in the entire universe, in the entire cosmos. A leap of consciousness that recognizes that the manifestation that appears to make everything separate is a gift. It's a gift that has been abused. It's a gift that has been misunderstood. It's a gift that has, because of the misunderstanding and the ignorance surrounding it, caused a lot of suffering, a lot of pain. I don't want to give up my vision for a better world. I don't want to give up my vision that there are royal bloodlines, Illuminati, if you will, that thought that they had the divine right of kings, that actually now can connect with the common people and produce a plan, produce a vision that can catch on in the East and the West, that can be embraced because it's sustainable. How is it sustainable? It's sustainable because ultimately the foundation will be common law for the whole world, where everyone adheres to universal law, where no one is exempt from accountability and responsibility, where every human being is fully accountable to every other human being on the planet and cannot violate the free will of another because they know that there will be a more immediate price to pay, not in a future generation of reincarnation, but in the present moment, in the present time frame of days and weeks, and at the most months, not even years, at the most months, that retribution will come if you harm another. Do you hear me, United States of America? Do you hear me, Obama? Do you hear me, Bush cabal and Clinton cabal and the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and all of you cabal people? Do you hear me? We can let go of this need to dominate the resources of the world, to dominate other people, to lie and connive like people have been doing, like you have been doing for so long, creating wars and financing both sides of every conflict, because conflict has been your food? Come on, give me a break. Do you not realize that sooner or later you're going to have to pay for your actions? You are going to have to face the mirror of your own actions, and you are going to have to come to the realization that what you were doing was not only wrong, it was a violation of creation itself. It was a violation of life itself. Oh, the sun needs to rise in the east. And I don't know, I'm not on the ground there as I had hoped to be. But I hope that whatever is being worked out, whatever these meetings are producing, that it will produce a new vision for humanity. A vision that will catch on, and a vision that will allow those who have been entrapped in the slavery system, in the system of domination, that it will allow those to recognize that because they have been given great wealth, they have also been given great responsibility to finally do the right thing, to finally make choices that will help and not hurt the people of the world. It is my sincere desire and my prayer that each of you, masters of the Far East, and each of you who listen to this, that are part of the 99% or the 99.999% that do not have measurable wealth, do not have gold and silver, and are not a keeper of the collateral accounts that are there to bring on the golden age of humanity, rising in the East and bridging through Russia, the East and the West. The answer is not going to come from the United States of America Corporation, or the European Commonwealth Corporation, or the International Monetary Fund, or the Federal Reserve, or any of the old central banks. It has to come from the BRICS nation. It has to come from the Dragon family. It has to come from those who have a new vision to give a new hope for humanity. That from the ashes of the old world that has been so destructive and so painful in its creation of suffering on a scale that's unimaginable and is still going on today in 2014 in Gaza, in other places in the Mideast, in Syria and Iraq and Pakistan and in Africa, all over the African continent, in Latin America, and even in the United States, and even in Europe, and across Asia, and across the world. People are suffering at the hands of tyrants who think that they have the divine right of kings to rule the world. Well, take a lesson from the Chinese royal family. Take a lesson and learn that you're human too. You're one of us. And until you recognize that you are one of us and come home and come home to the human family, to the human race, and embrace your humanity. Embrace your natural compassion and empathy, and see the results that you have created by your wanton disregard for law, for natural law, for life itself. Come home. It's a cry to come home so that we can have a new birth of freedom. We don't have to wait generations and generations and generations. We don't have to wait till some future time zone. The future is here now if we can embrace it and accept it. We can create a world that works for everyone. We can build the bridge from a terrible yesterday to a bright tomorrow. We can create a new renaissance, a new birth of freedom on the planet Earth. Today, it's our opportunity to do this if we can but embrace the truth that we are interconnected in a single web of life that spans all of the universe. All of the universe. Let's lay down our swords and beat them into plowshares. Let's stop using weapons against each other, including the weapons of words that are purposefully abused and different meanings applied so that you can create slavery, so that you can create financial tyranny, so that you can create a system where you benefit at other people's expense. This cannot be sustained, must not be sustained. It must be let go. As the sun rises in the east in China, may the sun rise in each of our hearts, bringing a new birth of freedom to us individually, so that that birth of freedom can reflect outward collectively in the mass consciousness of humanity, the collective consciousness of the race of humans and the races that have merged and come together to create a new civilization, a new humanity. As I said, a new birth of freedom for all. This has been my vision, and I will hold this vision as long as it takes. As long as it takes. So I want to thank the masters of the Far East, in China and India and the Soviet Union, and even the masters, the indigenous masters of the West, who held on to their humanity and re-embraced their humanity despite all of the abuses of the European cabal, dark ages of the Industrial Revolution, the dark ages of Admiralty Roman law that was imposed for 2,000 years upon the planet, a system of lies and deceptions carried forth by the Catholic Church. It's time for all this to end. It's time for humanity to come home and embrace with a loving heart the changes that are before us right now in our perceptions, in our reality, in our lives. Thank you for listening. Namaste.